we've got our boy P5, Paolo Banchero. When he was asked, this is a post from Orlando Magic HQ, our buddies over there. When he was asked by Jay Williams about himself in 5 years, Paolo replied, NBA champ, hopefully MVP, and one of the faces of the league, the faces of basketball of the new generation. You know, I led off with the Kenny and LeBron slapping high fives. We got that crew, that KD, LeBron crew, Steph Curry. They just had their swan song in the NBA, or in the the Olympics. That was kind of the last hurrah for that group. They've got another couple years here, and then they are out. And who is going to be that face? We've got a guy here in Orlando, and man, does it feel good going into the season with Paolo Banchero on the roster. I'm just beyond impressed by everything you hear about Paolo, the way that he carries himself, the way that he is grounded with his family. He doesn't seem like he's letting the hype get to him, Peesh. He spent a lot of time, I think, after some of his travels, spreading the P5 brand back at home in Seattle. And before you get worried, fans, it's still a long ways off. We've got Paolo here for quite some time. But, you know, I love that. He's getting back to the family, getting back to the roots. I think that he can be that superstar. It really feels like he can. He's the type of guy that can get a bucket. We saw it in the playoffs, and the whole team respects it, Peesh. There's no confusion about who's the guy. Even when they talk to Franz, really, who just got a max deal, he even defers, it seems, to Paolo Banchero, at least on the offensive end, as the face of this franchise. But with Paolo and Franz also as the tent poles of this organization, Circus is going to be in town for quite some time, Peesh. Quite some time.
Yeah, it's good to see a lot of people speaking positively about Paolo in the offseason. It's part of his slow rise. I think it's a lot of number one overall picks usually get thrust into this spotlight of I must be a superstar from day one. He didn't have to do that, yet kind of was anyway. Really stayed off the main radar for a long time. One could argue he's still not quite on it, but he's on the cusp now. He's in the conversation. People are talking about best power forwards in the league right now going into the season. He's at least top 3 on pretty much most of those lists. That's a big deal. That means that everyone's noticing what's going on. There is no doubt about he is the leader. He's already become that guy that, like, whenever you see a jersey or you see a Golden State Warrior jersey, you're like, oh, it's going to be a number 30. Back in the day, it used to be, you see a Bulls jersey, oh, it's going to be a 23. If you saw a Bulls jersey that was like a 33 Scottie Pippen, you'd be like, whoa, this is impressive.
That's
Paolo's already
become
Paolo's already become our guy that it's like now when you see a Magic jersey in the wild, the new one, you're expecting it to be a 5 at this point. So anything different means, you know, you're a big fan like us, right? And most of you that are probably watching the show, right? But Paolo jerseys are going to start to go up as people see this guy more. And I think it's pretty fitting that you used a picture of James in the beginning. I know a lot of people in the Magic community, not LeBron James fans, but from a game standpoint and a player standpoint, he reminds me of a young LeBron James making a team better around him. And I think that right now, this team that's around a young Paolo is a lot better than the team that was around a young LeBron. So that kind of gives me hope that, like, his want for being in the Eastern Conference Finals is not that far off a dream. It really is not. It is maybe one playoff upset away in the second round from actually being a thing that could happen. And anything's possible. Our team has shown growth from, you know, the bench players all the way to we know what we've got now. We've kind of got rid of a lot of the guys that didn't seem like they had a fit here. Whether we like them or not, we're now moving on. And this is our centerpiece, and he's our guy. And there's no doubt about it. And it's good to know that right now, because we haven't had this in Orlando for a while, we have that centerpiece to build around. It's a good one. And now we can just worry about the side stuff. Start worrying about the bench. Who's you know, starting at point guard. You know, we can worry about the little stuff because we know we got a guy that can get buckets out.